What up? It's me, chillin' hard. Triple hard, 4 times harder than a quarter of triple hard, I guess. We're listening to A Tear in the Fabric of Life by Knocked Loose. It's another EP that I'm just stealing straight from a list, and I was just looking for something heavy that I hadn't heard because I used to be a huge heavy music guy. I listen to almost no heavy music now, and I wanted some short ones to do that wouldn't be 50 minutes. I don't have that much time, so this is hopefully going to be a whole lot of fun. I don't know Knocked Loose. The name sounds kind of familiar. I may have heard a song somewhere, but if I have no idea what it was like. I know this is a heavy band. I don't know whether they're punk, whether they're metalcore, whether they're death metal, what. But let's get into it. It's only 20 minutes. Oh, 21 minutes. So, where the light divides the holler. 6 tracks. Let's go for it. Get in the car, off you go. It's raining. Fuck. Oh my god.
A tear in the fabric of life.
Alright, sorry, got lost there reading some lyrics. I have no fucking idea what they're on about. I mean, kind of I do. It's some pretty cool, like, fantastical, dark lyrics, you know? I think about him, like, killing his girl who's gonna become evil, you know? She's coming back as water carried by the lake. It's, like, very fantastical. Anyway, I thought they might be worth going into. They're not really. They're just pretty regular, crazy, heavy music lyrics. But very, they're telling a story. It's a weird one that only they know what's going on in. But the music, whoo, that came in real hard and fast. I really, really liked that. You know, it was startlingly fast, shockingly heavy. You can feel like desperation and urgency throughout all of it, especially in his voice. That was the one thing that really stood out to me, was I loved his voice. His voice, it reminded me of Hollow Crown by Architects. In that album, the vocalist it's just so raw and uncut and like unpolished but perfect. And this guy's voice, it's kind of similar in the way that it's his high notes, the tone seems very, 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 it seems like it's one tone for a little bit until you're really listening. And there's a lot of nuance in what he's doing with the singular sort of crazy as high and as intense as he can get at pitch. And sometimes I find that those vocals in particular in the beginning, when you first start listening to a heavy album, they don't seem to be as dynamic and interesting, but over time they're far more interesting than the people going like, yeah, you know, and like just fucking changing shit all the time. But hearing the differences between someone using their most desperate and urgent voice, if that makes sense. Like his voice, it's crazy. He's screaming as hard and loud as he can to have the most impact he can. And at first it seems like a lot, but when you get it, like when you get used to a voice like that, it just seems, I know that from experience, it just gives more and more and more and reveals more of itself and the emotion, the character behind it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And he's not doing any fucking bullshit screaming techniques. He's just fucking screaming hard. All right, let's keep going because I love that. We got 5 more tracks and I want to hear them. God knows. That ending really had that like fucking Norma Jean Imure like screechy screeches going on with the panning from side to side. I was loving it. It's so good. I love these lyrics as well. Just classic lyrics. Just dark, metaphorical, like it's just a story about some crazy shit, you know, super dramatic, super fucking over the top, and I love it. So funny. And also what is very funny is that the vocal break before the big breakdown, the line before the line right before the big one where you have the vocal break is hydrate the garden. Hydrate the garden. I'm just like, okay, all right. I mean, it's a weird thing to say sounding like Satan. Decorate the grave is a little bit more hardcore, but still kind of a funny thing to say as a giant vocal break before you make a breakdown where it sounds like you're being sucked into a vortex that's going to drag you into hell. So I like that a lot. Okay. All right. It's relentless so far, so I'm guessing it's going to continue that way. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say was his voice. Another thing I love about his voice is he's not afraid to have the scream where he's not getting all the way to the distortion where it's crackling. He's got the sort of clean scream where he's still shouting as loud as he can, but he hasn't quite pushed it into like the folds of his vocals where it starts to crackle. And that would be considered like an imperfection, right? But something that they leave in intentionally to show, because it really illustrates that he's fucking just screaming at the top of his lungs. He's not using some weird technique, something to make it sound like he's really screaming. He's fucking screaming and he means it, and it's a great touch, and I always love that.
I can't sing to shake the sun. The light is taken by the heart. So the guilt hanging over me like skies of rain.
those are lyrics that I can actually understand that are really heavy. I was first I was starting to wonder whether they were telling like a one encapsulated story with all these lyrics. But I don't think so. This one seems to be just about a guy who didn't listen to his wife when she said we should go before it starts raining and the storm comes in. I mean, I don't think it's metaphorical. I think it's literally about that. It's about a guy who gets into an accident because he didn't listen and then he killed his wife by, driving into a pole, or I'm not sure exactly what, but heavy content. The song itself was so good. That last ending breakdown that lasted forever was so impactful and so well done. And actually, previously to that long break where the drummer just switched it up and did like a totally unconventional drumming pattern for a breakdown, but the guitars continued doing the rhythmic thing. It was so good, and it was actually unique. And these guys seem to actually be. I would describe this as metalcore, and I haven't heard metalcore like this where this sounds kind of fresh. It sounds like a new take. It sounds like their own sound in a way. And I haven't heard metalcore. I mean, not that I've been staying on top of it, but I haven't heard metalcore personally in a long time where I'm like, oh, this actually sounds like people are breaking slightly new ground here. They're doing something slightly different. That's actually exciting. So that's cool. It sounded awesome. I loved every single second of it. So let's just keep going. The bleeding of 100 voices in unison asking me why. Woo! All right. Contorted in the fail, which I don't know what that is. It's French spelling, but I don't know what a fail is. Straight in. You know what? That was real chill. That was a chill ending. Totally chill. It didn't feel like that French movie where they get stuck under the catacombs in Paris and they're literally stuck in the seventh circle of hell or anything. What the fuck? Oh my god. You know what? I'm starting to think this might actually be a concept album where it is about this. Because I just remembered that first, the intro was him getting into a car while it's raining, right? That's what we heard. And then a crash. And then it's sort of starting to come together now. Yeah. I need to, yeah, so that, and then we heard him then burying a body, right? So I'm wondering if it's about him accidentally killing his wife. Probably he had too much to drink, so he doesn't want to get caught by the cops, and now he's said, like, something like that. I haven't read them all, and it's so metaphorical that it's really hard to, without like lots of listens and really reading through, and I don't want to waste too much time on that. But I have a feeling that's what it is. Cool. let's keep going. That's 4 tracks down. We got one short one right now. Return to Passion. Let's see what happens.
From underground I hear you calling. Death comes home. Like the candles just to make the sense. So right, back inside I find myself again. I tell my walls running.
Oh.
You want to say everything's okay.
Ugh, that sounds fucking gross. Right, well, let's talk about this, because this is fucked up. Okay, so this is what's happening. It's a return to passion, guys. He fucking digs her up and he fucks her. That's what he does. He digs her up. And then he has sex with the dead body. That's what happens. It's real heavy. From underground, I hear you calling, clawing through the dirt. Return to life, I can save you. Guided by the moon onto the grave. Dig, dig. Everything will be okay. Force-fed rebirth. Anyways. Death comes home. Light the candles just to mask the scent. Death comes home. Love resurrects. Back inside myself again. I find myself again. The great return to passion. Back inside you, I lose myself. Hide you in my walls. Rotting. This is pretty gross. These guys are fucking crazy. I need to go back and reread the beginning of this because now I know that this is some sort of like dark opera. A story of something untoward that has happened and something very grim. Alright, last song, Permanent. I'm guessing, I wonder if we're going to get a conclusion to all of this. I wish I had have read the first songs better, but I just go way over time on these, so I fucking never shut up, so. Permanent.
Suffering in this life without you. Permanent blue. It's not the love that's a show. It's the soul. Definitely takes me to bleed. The only way I'm exercising every measure left. A snuff or two in the world of hell. Closer in a physical form. All the lights went out.
I got chills on that one. What a... Dude, that's 6 songs. And it really takes you all over the place. I really wish I hadn't felt rushed and had have really read the lyrics from the beginning. Because I'm certain that they have written a story here that's a complete story that starts at the beginning and ends here in Permanent. And it also seems like kind of a fun... well, no, because he's driving. Very confusing, really, because he's talking about, like, teach me the blade and stuff here in this one, which puts me into, like, an old kind of, like, fantasy realm in my mind. You know, I'm picturing... He also mentions something about... being in a field or something, yeah. The wooded valley you call home, right? That made me think the same thing in shepherding. Shepherd me, wooden valley, teach me the blade. Made me think of like a... you know, like a Viking situation. But yeah, but what a powerhouse of an EP. So interesting. And like I said before, I love his voice. I love his voice. It's so good. It's got to be one of the best really heavy voices I've heard in ages. And I've over time come to find that the high-pitched full screams like that for me are just way more impactful than the big deep growls. The growls can be fun, like here and there, you know, but I much prefer that because there's so much more emotion in a scream like that. You can feel the rage and everything behind it. But yeah, I loved it, and I will be listening to it again. Hell yeah. There was a moment there in, I can't remember which song it was, I think it was Contorted in the Fail, where I was getting some serious Unearth vibes. Is it This Lying World or something? It's sort of like the answer and call guitars screeching in the background. It was nice. All right, thank you for watching. If you've actually watched this, please recommend me stuff. I don't only listen to heavy music though, if this is the one you came for. But you're very welcome to recommend me other heavy stuff. Alrighty, thank you. Bye.